You want to know why, fans? Because of the money. It's all about the money. Come on now. He not...
The fight is on. Jaron "Boots" Ennis is set to clash with Terence Crawford. It's a generational showdown as the young up-and-comer faces the seasoned champion. With Turki Alalshik giving the green light, this epic battle is about to unfold. This might not come as a surprise to most of you, as many expected this fight to happen sooner or later. Turki Alalshik has announced on X that he wants to organize a fight between Terence Crawford and Jaron "Boots" Ennis at 154 pounds soon. Promoter Eddie Hearn is also confident this fight will happen. Hearn made this statement after Boots' fifth-round stoppage win over David Avanesyan. According to Hearn, Canelo Alvarez won't be fighting Crawford. Hearn also expressed doubts about Crawford's upcoming fight against Israel Madrimov on August 3rd. Crawford, who is currently undefeated with a record of 40, 0, and 31 knockouts, will turn 37 on September 28th. Hearn doesn't believe Crawford will beat Madrimov, who is also unbeaten with a record of 10-0-1 and 7 knockouts. The fight will take place at the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. If Crawford loses to Madrimov, he will have to decide whether he still wants to face the young phenom Boots Ennis after suffering a loss. Fans on social media think Terence Crawford will do everything he can to avoid fighting Jaron "Boots" Ennis. They believe he will choose to fight other opponents if he can't secure the big money fight against Canelo Alvarez. Crawford hopes to get this fight before retiring and enjoying his wealth in his mansion in Nebraska. The upcoming fight between Crawford and Israel Madrimov will be available live on DAZN and ESPN PP on August 3rd in Los Angeles. Many believe Ennis's power and style could create significant problems for Crawford. Ennis is known for his powerful body punches and devastating left hook counters. Crawford, who has fought infrequently over the last 4 years, might struggle against this kind of attack. In his recent fight, Ennis knocked down David Avanesyan in the 5th round with a perfect left hook counter to the head. Avanesyan never saw the punch coming and wouldn't have been able to stay on his feet even if he had. Ennis had just landed a powerful right to Avanesyan's body moments before, which set up the knockout punch. This was quicker than Terence Crawford, who knocked out Avanesyan in the 6th round back in December 2022. Ennis, with a record of 32, 0, and 29 knockouts, might be too young, strong, and resilient for Crawford, who is 40, 0 with 31 knockouts. The real question is whether Crawford will take the fight with Ennis, knowing he could end up in the same position as Avanesyan, who is only a year younger than Crawford and lacked the youth to compete with Ennis. When DAZN's Chris Mannix mentioned Crawford's name for a potential fight, Ennis was enthusiastic about the idea. Ennis, the IBF welterweight world champion, said he wants to fight big names like Crawford and anyone else with a big name in his weight class. Ennis's promoter, Eddie Hearn, praised him highly. He said that the future for Ennis is the future of boxing. Hearn believes Ennis can beat everyone and described him as a special fighter who needs to be tested against the best in the world. Many fans respect Boots Ennis's effort to make his fight against David Avanesyan exciting, but they would prefer to see Terence Crawford take on the top contenders at 154 pounds. Some believe that if Crawford gets motivated, he could unify the titles and then retire. There is a sentiment that fans might be overrating Ennis. He needs to prove himself by fighting more challenging opponents than the washed-up Avanesyan. Crawford's skills, accomplishments, and level of competition are far superior. I'm not yet convinced by Ennis and would like to see him take on Crawford, but I don't think it would prove much. If Ennis wins, he would have beaten a 37-year-old Crawford. And if Crawford wins, he would have beaten a younger but unproven fighter. Ennis should fight other young talents like Stanionis or Ortiz at 154 pounds to test himself. When Crawford was Ennis's age, he was also fighting less challenging opponents, but wasn't as dominant as Ennis. Ennis seems like a bigger, faster, and more powerful version of Crawford with better defense. However, Crawford's achievements in multiple weight classes are impressive, and it remains to be seen if Ennis can dominate at 154 and 160 pounds and become a multi-weight champion like Crawford. A fight between Crawford and Ennis needs to happen soon. It's the best matchup from 147 to 154 pounds, and both fighters are levels above the rest. In an ideal world, Ennis would move up to 154 pounds, allowing for potential matchups between Crawford, Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Tim Tszyu, and Jermell Charlo. However, these fights often don't happen for various reasons. To be honest, I think Ennis should get in the ring with fighters like Imantas Stanionis, Keyshawn Davis, or Mario Barrios. Although he looked good against Avanesyan, Ennis is still an unestablished welterweight and needs to prove himself against tougher competition. Depending on how Crawford looks in his next fight, it will determine if he can beat Ennis. Crawford's sharp-shooting style might not work as effectively against Boots, who pressures more than he counters. However, Crawford's experience and elite skills might still give him the edge over Ennis's youth and size. Boots' recent win wasn't a masterclass, and he still needs to step up his competition before he's ready for a 36-year-old Crawford. Ennis has avoided fighters like Maurice Hooker, Ejidijas, Kavaliauskas, and Crawford. He needs to face tougher opponents to be ready for Crawford. I initially thought Ennis would easily defeat Crawford. However, after watching Ennis's performance last night, I see it as an even fight. Ennis's opponent seemed to know he would quit on the stool, and I think Eddie Hearn knew it too. It felt like they wanted to make Ennis look good. The fight was on short notice, with both fighters only having 2 weeks to prepare. While some still believe Crawford has the edge due to his tougher opponents and experience, others argue that Crawford hasn't faced significant competition at 147 pounds. They point out that Ennis defeated David Avanesyan a round sooner than Crawford did, even with short preparation time. Despite Ennis's impressive record, he lacks the elite-level experience that Crawford has. Crawford has faced and defeated many tough opponents, including former world champions like Jeff Horn, Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Errol Spence Jr. This level of competition has given Crawford valuable experience that Ennis has yet to gain. Some believe Crawford is focused on securing a career payday against Canelo Alvarez, which might delay a potential fight with Ennis. Crawford's desire for a big payday is understandable, but many fans want to see him fight Ennis and other top contenders at 147, 154 pounds before he retires. While boxing has changed and big money fights often take precedence, there is hope that Crawford versus Ennis will eventually happen. Who do you think will win?